Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's February 23rd, and we are live for the Daily Drop-In Morning Show with the Teach Better team. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and LinkedIn. And you might also be listening after the fact as this becomes an episode of the Teach Better Talk podcast. We really appreciate that you're here bright and early with us, or if you're listening after the fact, we appreciate you including us in your day. We have a full schedule ahead of you with holidays, good news stories, and of course, a very, very special guest on this Wednesday early morning. So please feel free to comment. Tell us what you're doing this morning to get ready for a successful day, and we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, February 23rd. Good morning. Good morning. We have the incredible Marcus with us. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
So good. I was so excited to chat with you this morning. We actually got to chat a few months ago, and now, of course, you're being featured on 12 Hour Live here in just a few days. I feel like this is like the warm up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Like, I watched Daily Drop In, and I'm like, definitely got to be on the show. And this is awesome.
We're thrilled to have you. I know we have a lot we're going to dive into. It's early for us. We're both in Central Time Zone, but of course, as many of you know, our community is all over the U.S., but we operate in the East Coast. So I feel like I tell people, oh, we're going to be live at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's not too early. But for us, I mean, we're an hour earlier. So we're getting ready for the day. You said kids are getting dressed for school. It's go time.
It's go time.
I love it.
I'm excited about it. My kids are like, Daddy, you're doing a recording this morning? I was like, yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not get dressed and hop on camera at 6 a.m., right? Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Marcus, for people who may not be connected to you, I'd love to make sure that they not only learn about you for the show, but also go connect with you on social media and all that good stuff. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How do you describe the work you do?
Oh, goodness. Well, first off, I'm a principal of a school of 3,000 young people. I know it sounds crazy. I love it, right? Like, I get to go to work every day. I'm very connected with the state of Illinois. Live in Illinois, of course, and connected with a lot of school leaders. I serve as the president of Illinois Principals Association, and that in itself is just an awesome experience to get to be able to connect with people all across the state, which is fun because I get to learn a lot about what I do. This was my first principal role. So 3 years ago, almost 4 now, most of it being in a pandemic, but I took on a school of 3,000 as my first principal job, and it was crazy. And so the best way for me to connect, I'm very have a pretty big presence on Twitter at Marcus J. Belin, Instagram, Dr. Marcus Belin, and then my website, drmarcusbelin.com. So that's how people can connect with me, but that's a way in which I am able to connect with others.
I love it. I love it. It's been really interesting for all of you. You're good.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, you know what? I feel like that's the call letting people know that it's time for Daily Drop-In. We're good.
It is. Good morning.
Yeah, exactly. It's been super good connecting with you and following your journey because you're also doing a lot of speaking in schools, which is allowing you to not only obviously serve in all these other roles in education. I love that you're serving on the board for the Illinois Principals Association. What a phenomenal crew over there. But you're also like working with school districts as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that actually is a new venture that just kind of started for me. A great friend of mine back in about a little over a year ago, Adam Welcome. I know you know him. That's an awesome guy, good dude. And he kind of pushed me to start a podcast, unapologetic leadership. So I'm in a year of kind of getting that up and running and going. Yeah, in the midst of all of the other things that I have going, but it's again fun to connect with people. And so it was a point in time where I was like, nobody wants to hear what I have to say, right? Like I'm just a building principal, school of 3,000, and I realized that some of the things that I've been able to do and some of the lived experiences that I had, it's more so the lived experiences were missing at the stage in which people can learn. And so I found that as a place to be able to share. So this is an early venture for me, and I've just now started things that started to pick up a little bit. But it's also finding the balance of being a building principal each day and a practitioner in the work. So nothing of what I'm sharing, sometimes when I go speak, it's like, hey, this just happened yesterday, right? And I can speak to those experiences, which I think helps other leaders and other other educators just be better, right? And do better at what they do.
No, I love that. And I love our shared connection with Adam. What a great guy, always supporting educators. And the joke with him is he's always supporting educators to start podcasts. Like this is his thing.
I know. I've started to realize that like there are more people popping on and we have similar stories. And you talk about like the 6 degrees of separation, like with Adam Welcome, there's like 2. Do you have a podcast? Okay, great. Somebody who told you to start it was Adam Welcome.
Yes, exactly. That's so funny. Also, I want to touch on, we have a very widespread community kind of located all over, especially for those that tune into Daily Drop-In in the mornings. But a lot of people have been curious around how to get involved in education outside of the physical building. And your involvement in the Illinois Principals Association is actually a beautiful way for educators to get involved in nonprofits or statewide organizations to share their voice, share their influence, their impact. I mean, that is such a wonderful opportunity to network. There's so many good things there. So would you mind going through kind of your background and how you got involved in a statewide organization? I mean, how do you even begin that? Like, is that a Google search? How do people do it?
Yeah. So you always typically when people move into roles, especially in education, right? They find something to be connected to, right? Like when you are, some people's triggers, like when you put it on a resume, it's like, what are your professional affiliations or organizations that you belong to? And people are like, what's the most notable that's connected to my profession? And I'm gonna be honest, I did that 11 years ago now. I was a dean of students at a charter school in Central Illinois, and being an administrator, people were like, hey, and a lot of it by word of mouth is like, you should be a part of this organization. So I became a member of Illinois Principals Association as just an aspiring member, and got in, paid the small membership fee and started to get connected. It just like grew like wildfire. It was like a underground network of educators that were able to connect. And so, once I jump into something and commit myself to something, like I'm diving in, little did I know that, a few years later, I'd be serving at the region level. I moved regions. I moved from Central Illinois up here to the Kishwaukee region, which is most of the north end of the state. Got involved, and somebody tapped me on the shoulder and was like, hey, Marcus, like, you ever thought about running for president or being on the state board? And I was like, no, I haven't, especially because of my time. But again, when you jump in and you just go after it, the opportunities that present themselves create endless possibilities for the future. So I hopped in, and here I sit.
I love it. No, it's so interesting because you're right that once you get involved in an organization that has its own network, you're kind of inundated with an opportunity to not only connect with lots of people, but also continuously get involved. And, obviously we're talking about your involvement in Illinois specifically, but these organizations, these types of communities exist in every single state. And while Teach Better fosters a global community of educators striving to be better, it's good to be part of multiple networks. It's good to be connected. Yeah. It's good to get to know kind of like the different bubbles that exist in education. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great.
Yeah. And I think you get so much out of different pieces, right? Like if you go down one particular road or you have your hand in one pot, like you're only going to get what's in that pot, right? And so, I'm a part of NASS, or National Association of Secondary School Principals, NASSP, and And being a part of IPA has provided the ability for me to connect as well on the political scene and being an advocate for education and educators. And I think that's what, especially in education, right? Like a lot of people think that it's all about the politics. For me, it's all about the kids. It's all of the other stuff that guide our decision making for young people. So being a voice, being a practitioner, doing the work every single day, and then going out and advocating for what we do as teachers, as school leaders, like is most important. And so getting involved at a local level as well as a national level, there's people who are always looking for those anecdotal stories of like what's actually happening, right? The people making the decisions aren't in the buildings, and the people who are making the decisions are the ones impacted, and we become messengers, and we can't just become messengers of the work that other people have done. We have to be able to advocate what we believe is best for kids. So that's why I do what I do.
So good, so good. Marcus, we're going to get so much further into this throughout the show. I know during Brainstorm Bake, we're going to be able to dive into all these different spaces that you're so passionate about to continue to share with our community. But real quick, we are going to start with our holidays this morning, get into some good news. So we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone.
I'm like jamming to the music.
I love like jamming out in the background to this music. It's always like a good pick me up, right?
Yeah.
I will say I do joke. I love that one. My favorite jingle is on Friday, and I'm bummed because we only can play it once a week because it's like a recap of the week. And I just think we need to sneak it in on a random Wednesday sometimes, just to jam out.
Yes.
Okay. Marcus, we love to celebrate good news, good holidays every single show. This is an opportunity for our community to come together, add some joy, some happiness into our morning, and then also use these as tidbits to foster relationships and continue to build good relationships with our students and our colleagues and everything in between. So are you up for celebrating?
Yeah, I'm always up for celebrating. Why not?
Why not? Why not? First and foremost, the first thing that we like to do that typically we do bright and early in the morning is share a moment of gratitude. We use Happy Feed to do that. That's a brand new app that we've been exposed to recently here on the Teach Better team. And we put in our moment of gratitude every single morning. What I love about this app, if you guys aren't familiar, and I know I talk about it every morning on the show, is that you're able to revisit these moments in so many different ways in their free app, which we really appreciate. So right now, Daily Drop-In is continuing to curate kind of all these moments of gratitude to be able to use that later on and go back to these moments, kind of to remember these fun episodes we're able to do every morning with different educators. So the first thing we're going to start with is, what are you grateful for today? And if you're not sure, there's also a hint button that I really like. Do you want to hear the hint, or you want to get you got an idea?
Let's hear the hint.
Okay, this hint is all about what the weather and the outside environment like. This says ocean breezes, bird songs, and ray of sunshine. These are all things that can also be wonderful. Are you thankful for anything outside? So
I would say that I'm thankful for the weather. However, it's cold, it's windy, and it's icy outside. So negative on the outside. I think what I'm most thankful for today is, and it sounds cliche, I guess, in this environment, but I get to go to work today. We've been we've been kind of on a short winter break. So kids have not been in the building since last Thursday. And here we are on Wednesday, almost a week later. So just being able to see kids in the building and connecting with them, I'm actually kind of excited about that today.
I love it. It is documented. It's official. I appreciate it. That was a good one. That was definitely a good one. It's been a crazy, crazy few weeks, especially with weather and everything else. It's been nuts.
It was just 50 the other day, and now I got icicles hanging from the trees. But
here's my argument, though. In the Midwest, when we have a beautiful 50 in the middle of February, it's actually just all mud. It was all mud everywhere.
This is true, and I will tell you, if it wasn't for, to be honest, I'm actually grateful for car washes that have like the little $3 deal where you can drive through every day, because I drive through the car wash every single day, and just because of the weather, and 50 is like a heat wave in February. So
I know it was. I know I'm bummed that I think that the weather today is not looking like it's in the 50s.
Negative.
Yeah. Some holidays that we can celebrate today. Good morning to everyone that's tuning in. It is International Dog Appreciation Day, so maybe share some biscuits and some love for our dogs at home. It is National Banana Bread Day. I love banana bread. Are you a banana bread fan?
I have had some good banana bread. I've also had some bad banana bread, but I will eat it. If somebody out there is listening and Huntley High School is right, you can drop some off to me. I'm all about the food.
Yeah, exactly. I love a good food. It's also, it notes here, which I don't know why this is a separate holiday, National Dog Biscuit Day. So apparently we're not only appreciating our dogs, but like giving our dogs like a treat, like a biscuit would be good.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
why not?
They all need something.
Yeah, why not
celebrate on a separate day. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's also National Hospitality Workers Appreciation Day, National Day of Berlin. It's National Title Day. It's Pink Shirt in Canada Day. What a great holiday right there. It's time to stand up and stand against bullying in Canada today by wearing pink. There are a lot of holidays today, but we will end with that it's also Play Tennis Day. Are you a sports guy, Marcus?
I am a sports guy. I ran track in high school. All about the speed. Watch a lot of basketball, but that's about it.
I will say I'm not in any way a tennis player, but I do like watching a good sports game. Like basketball, sign me up. I jokingly became a really big Rams fan during the Super Bowl. So there you go.
I've become a fan of the Rams because of their stadium, right? We've had all this talk about the Bears stadium. All I got to say is if the Bears move to Arlington, I just need their stadium to be better than the SoFi.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
That's so funny. Our good news story has to do with basketball at a high school level, which obviously you're very familiar with, Marcus, running a high school. This is about a high school in Arkansas where a basketball team surprises their manager, who is a young student. It was a senior night, and he had been the manager all 4 years at the high school. He had special needs and wasn't able to play actively on the team, but was always at every single game. And they not only gave him a jersey, but put him in for the game. And he scored a three-pointer in the middle of the game. So they are thrilled. This video is so cute. You can go see that on the today.com. There's a really cute video, and it's very short. It would be a really cool video to bring to students this morning.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing videos like that. The involvement of everybody, right? Like one of the most important roles is a manager of a team, and in whatever capacity a kid can serve, that's awesome.
Well, and it's one of those videos where it's just a quick clip, but it's one of those videos that he like shoots the ball for the three-pointer, it goes in, and the entire crowd stands up. Like it's
crazy.
One of those good feel goods. You can feel the energy in it. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was so fun. Love it. Awesome. For those of you who are looking for other good news stories, obviously we'd love to share them every single day on the show. So please let us know if you have a good news story, something to celebrate, or which articles you're enjoying, so we can continue to celebrate so many different things on Daily Drop-In. Marcus, we are going to transition here into a segment that we call Brainstorm Bank, which is an opportunity for us to come together, brainstorm a little bit, and really get into the ideas that you're passionate about. So we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Brainstorm Bank. We do this every single morning on the show, and we love to take an intentional moment to just ask all of you friends, hey, do you need anything? Marcus and I definitely do not promise to have the answer to whatever problem that you are brainstorming, but we'd love to be a partner with you in the brainstorming process. No educator is alone as they problem solve student needs, parent needs, leadership needs. We're good brainstorm buddies. So just sign us up. You can feel free to put your questions or comments in the chat, and we will do our very, very best to brainstorm with you. Marcus, we also have a theme this week, which is all about taking small steps to reach our goals. I'm sure this is something that you have experienced with all that you've achieved and also all the goals that you are currently working on. Tell us a little bit about your experience kind of working towards maybe big goals that you have.
Yeah. So I always had this mindset of I want to chase after the person I want to be 10 years from now. Right. Like if I'm constantly chasing for that person, then all of the things that line up and the goals that I have will stay at the forefront of focus. And patience, right? Patience is the key. And I struggled with that early on because I was like, let me hop in, like I'm go, 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 go. But sometimes you miss the opportunities of just being able to sit and grapple with some of the challenges because they create those lived experiences that help you, as you move forward. And so I think just setting goals is one. The pursuit of those goals and, how you attack them and being committed to attacking them is the second part of that, but can be the most challenging, in which people give up. It takes me back to, I'll give you a prime example. Like right before the pandemic hit in March of 2020, I actually defended my dissertation in April of 2020. Let me tell you, March was crazy. Not only did I shut down the school, but I made a mad dash to finishing my dissertation. I was ready to completely give up. Like, this is done. I wrote all of this, but I am done writing. Don't want to see it anymore. And, when you push past that mountain and you see what the increase of experience could be for you, I just buckled down and did it. And that was proof to me that you can do it. Just apply yourself, put your mind to it and go for it.
I cannot imagine finishing a dissertation in the chaos of March and April of 2020. Even just thinking back, we all could barely hop on Zoom calls at that point. We were newbies, and you're over there getting a doctorate. That's insane.
That's great because we didn't know how to connect on Zoom or Google Hangouts. And so people didn't know how to connect. They had to pick up the phone. And at that point, you got the choice to hit the decline button if you want. Nobody could see you. And so I had no choice but to just go at it, right? You're sitting in front of a computer screen every day. Let's make it useful.
I love this concept of chasing the person you want to be in 10 years. I want to ask a dumb question, though. How in the world do you figure out who you want to be in 10 years? And how do you start making small steps to get there? Because I think if you were to take us through some sort of activity where we designed who we want to be in 10 years, there's probably a lot of intimidation that can come from that. It looks like a really big, I love to call them big audacious goals, right? You're looking at something, it looks like a big bite to chew, and some people might be intimidated by that and not even go forward.
So the step to that, and I know a lot of people can call them a lot of different things: vision boards, idea lists, things of that nature. And I really think it's whether it's taking out a piece of paper, whether it's sitting with your phone and going in your notes and just writing down things that you want to accomplish, kind of like a bucket list, if you will. And you just literally go and brainstorm, right? You just sit and think and just put down anything. If time were not an issue, if money weren't an issue, if ability and access were not an issue, what would you do, right? And if you just go and start listing that stuff down out, and then constantly revisiting that list, right? A lot of people wake up with habits that they do. For me, I read my daily word and I go make coffee, and I have a methodical way of just getting up and just getting after it in the morning, because I do wake up early and I have 3 young people that rely on me. So I need to get my stuff out the way. And if I pull up my list and I start to look at it each day, even if it's just getting eyes on it, you just start to remember. You start to think man, I keep seeing this thing. At the end of a year, what I do is I go back and I look at all of the things that I've crossed out, because as I hit them, I cross them out. And if you start looking at how many things that you crossed out and replacing them with something new, eventually you're going to start working through that list. And that's how you create those goals. So that's the method in which I use. It works for me.
I love it. Go chase who you want to be. I love this. And I love that there are actionable steps that you can take along the way. It's not just creating a vision and then saying, all right, I'll get there. But it's actually creating a vision and strategically working towards that work day in, day out. Small goals during the day, big goals, maybe month to month or year to year. These are good milestones to hit. I love this. This is a great strategy. When you're working with teachers or when you're working with principals or when you're speaking at school districts or conferences, I know you're doing a ton of speaking at conferences. What's like your soapbox message that you love to share with people?
The biggest piece of what I share, and the question that I ask and lead off with is why wait to inspire? And from whatever capacity in which we serve in education, it could be our maintenance crews, it could be our school security, all the way up to our principals or to our district office staff, or even to companies that provide resources for schools. And what capacity in which you serve is allows you the ability and access to be able to inspire young people. And so really the premise of one, knowing that our kids matter and that they need to be connected to something and belong to something because we have limited opportunities with them. Two, that the work that we do as educators, like we matter in this work. And I say we because I'm in it day in and day out. And the challenges in which we all face in schools, we're all a part of it. And we all need to be connected, but we also need to take care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we can't take care of other people. It's that whole concept of like putting your oxygen mask on first before you do something for others. And when you have kids that rely on you every day, like your oxygen mask got to stay on because you got to be ready for it. And then the third thing is just being intentional and specific about the work that we do for kids. When we make things intentional, when we put things at the forefront of focus and constantly go after it, knowing that it's the best decision for kids, then we are more than likely going to have a success rate of 100% of making it through the challenging days and being successful of giving students opportunity.
So much good stuff here. If you were to give our community one challenge this morning, maybe something that they can accomplish later today as they're walking down the halls of their school building, or something they can maybe work on, a mindset they can carry, maybe they can report back to you at the end of the week, some action step, what would that be to get a little closer to what you're discussing here?
The positive thought of what can happen. When you walk down the hall, it's easy, especially now. Okay, Ray, I'm gonna be real. Everybody knows what last semester was like in any school, right? The TikTok challenges, the devious licks, like things being stolen, graffiti, crazy. I had it too, right? And it's easy to walk down the hall and focus on like the negative things that are happening or things that you see and that you hear. But it's also easy to walk down the hall and not say anything, right? Like you stay focused and you're like, okay, cool. I'm on my way to a meeting, or I'm going to a teacher's classroom, or I'm going from place to place. But just being intentional about saying things to kids and like, hey, look, I believe in you today. Hey, get after it today. Good morning. Good to see you. Like, and try, like, make it a goal to try to talk to every single person that walks past you. It's going to be nuts, right? Like, I'm in a building of 3,000, there are thousands of kids walking past me coming in the building. I'm like, I'm trying to make eye contact. I'm trying to say, hey, and it's an exhausting 10 to 15 minutes of craziness. Mm-hmm. But if a kid can hear good morning before they walk into a classroom and passing an adult, like that could go so far.
I love that challenge. Try to speak to every single person, trying to make a connection with every single person that walks by you, whether that be while standing at your door and greeting students, or walking down the hall in the sea of students. That's an awesome challenge for people to take on this morning, and a really good opportunity for us to continue to foster connections to ensure that our students feel good before they get into the learning for their day. I think that's so powerful.
Yeah. The other piece of that is sometimes you got to step outside of your comfort zone, right? Like it's easy to gravitate towards the students that you see on a regular basis that you have a connection with. One day I actually stood in the Commons, and which is the main area of our building that connects one side to the other. And instead of like being intentional about looking students directly in the eye, like I said it as groups, right? Like I would stop people, like, and hey, good morning. Like I made my motions a lot larger to be like, whoa, like, who is this dude? Like, yeah, he's crazy. It's fine. I work in education, right? No day's the same. But like sometimes just being a little bit bolder in your approach and your response to kids, they'll remember that piece, right? They'll remember a good morning, but they'll remember like, whoa, he like jumped in my way to say good morning to me. And that goes a little bit further as well. So if you want the extra challenge, step outside the comfort zone today.
I love it. It's so funny. We were just talking yesterday. I was just discussing a blog I was reading. For those of you that are connected to like middle school specifically, it was on amle.org, which is supporting middle school teachers. And there was this like article about an early in their career educator stepping out of their comfort zone by hosting an advisory with the basketball team. And she's writing in this blog, she's like, I don't know any students that play on the basketball team. She's like, I teach Latin. I don't even work with this age of student. And she was instructed by her principal to kind of step into this kind of, it was a substitute role. She was just stepping into the class for that one time. And her reflection of stepping out of her comfort zone. I think educators have been put to the test to step out of their comfort zone. And in that regard, saying good morning in the hall, we can handle that, friends. We've done way more challenging things than that.
Yeah, this is true.
Can you give our community, maybe we can even challenge them in the comments, although sometimes it takes a long time to type. Maybe they could do it in only emojis. We'll challenge our network. Try and give us a story where you have stepped out of your comfort zone. But if you need to do it only in emojis this morning, we understand. As you're watching on your phone, have you been able to step out of your comfort zone? Do you do that on a daily basis? Do you find yourself doing that consistently? Is there one memory that comes to mind that you're like, oh, I step out of my comfort zone a lot, but this instance was definitely like a different one for me?
So my personality right now, like I'm pretty outgoing, right? Like my wife, she's an introvert, like completely opposite of me. And sometimes I try to think from a different lens of like, Marcus, everybody is not as outgoing and like as you are. But there was a moment I like, as outgoing as I am, the level of anxiety that raises inside of me when I stand in front of my student body is unreal, right? Like, never forget standing in at a pep rally. It was actually my first pep rally. So, of course, there's a little anxiety because this is my first time, like, being in front of 3,000 kids, all my staff. So it's 3,500 people in one space. And I stood in front of my student body during our homecoming pep rally in 2018. And I almost froze, like I was holding the mic and I thought like, yes, I got this. I'm comfortable. Like, you got this, dude. I had to talk myself into it. And my heart was about to pop out of my chest. Like, if you stood next to me, you could see it and you probably could hear it. But I stepped outside of my comfort zone and I looked around the gym and it was quiet for a moment when I took the mic. And I was like, you know what, guys, like, I love y'all. And they were like, did he just say he loved us? And it was a language and a common language in which I was trying to create in the culture of my building. I've successfully done it, right, in terms of letting kids know that they matter. But like that was the thought that came to mind, right? And out of all things, there's a lot of kids that don't get to hear that on a regular basis. Our kids spend more time with us than they do elsewhere, especially during the school day. And if I could impress upon them of like, here's what we're going to do for you and service you, not just in education, but like whole child, like, hey, I'm gonna bring you all the way to the table. Like, you have a story. I want to be able to hear, but I want you to know that like you are loved and you're cared about. And that was the message that kind of took off. And for me, that was definitely out of the comfort zone, standing in front of 3,000 kids saying that. So
yeah. No, powerful. I love this. Step out of your comfort zone, connect with as many people as you possibly can today, make people feel seen and heard and appreciated. These are all good reminders on a Wednesday morning. So good, Marcus. We're going to transition here into recommendations we love, which is a segment we only get to do on Wednesdays. This is where we kind of give some strategies and some resources that if our community is interested in pursuing goals more intentionally, or pursuing stepping out of your comfort zone a little more intentionally, these are resources that can be blogs, podcasts, or books that they can go explore further to continue their exploration in these concepts. So we'll be right back. All right, as we wrap up our show here for Daily Drop-In, I want to make sure that we not only get a reminder of how to connect with you, Marcus, but also give people kind of some action steps, some next steps if they want to continue to pursue learning about these concepts that we're able to discuss today, and our theme this week, which is taking small steps for those big gains. Marcus, what have you been able to turn to as supports as you've chosen to continue to be a learner, and whether it be books, podcasts, or blogs? Kind of what do you turn to as a resource?
I actually, so kind of selfishly, right? Like the podcast that I've done, Unapologetic Leadership, just being able to talk with other educators, right? Like our conversations are it's super laid back, organic. Like I'm not reading through a list of questions like, hey, answer this question, this question, this question. But like we just kind of build off of and just kind of talk about what's happening in the worlds in which we live and work in. So that's part of it. The other thing I do scroll through a lot of Twitter, right? Like sometimes when my weekly report on my iPhone says your screen time was increased, like, yeah, I was scrolling today. And I found that to be an opportunity to see what's going on real time with people, because more than likely people are going to post some of the things that they're most passionate about. As well as resources. This is like kind of conference season in education. Like you got 2 times, one in the fall and one in the spring. And so there's a lot of things that people are posting, and conferences that people are going to and sharing out things. So Twitter has been big for me. A book that I'm reading, it's not even education related. It's Will Smith's book that just came out. It's called Will. And the application to life, and no one said, hey, Marcus, I need you to promote this book. Like this by far, and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm on the go so much, like just popping in some AirPods and like taking a walk or riding on my bike or whatever gives me the ability to like just sit and like get away. And listening to the audiobook by Will is probably one of the most inspiring things that I've read over the course of the past couple of months. Really gives you the ability to look and go after something despite challenges that you have. And so when we talk about goals and when we talk about making small steps and chasing, like this is probably a good book to read. I learned a lot too, especially because a lot of my family is from Philadelphia, West Philly to be exact. So seeing or getting a picture and hearing all of the things that are going on or that went on back during the time that Will Smith was growing up is awesome. So definitely reading. And then lastly, I think part of it is sitting and taking time to reflect, right? Reflect on things that you could have done differently or things that you wish you had done. You know, when you leave an experience, you're like, man, I wish I'd have said that, or I had done that, or I had to connected or talked with that person. Like write it down, right? Because if that was what you felt was a mistake, or that was what you felt was something that you're like, I could have done better. If you don't write it down, like you'll never revisit again. It's out your mind. So look at it and say, you know what, I'm going to do this next time. And my biggest thing is be intentional. Be intentional about the things that are feeding you, that are pouring into you, and be intentional about creating time for that.
Such good reminders here. Love the resources. I know this is going to be so beneficial, Marcus. Will you do me a favor and just share again how people can stay connected to you, your Twitter handle, kind of all that good stuff, to ensure that this is not the only time people connect with you, because I know they're also going to be tuning in for 12-hour live.
Yeah, I'm excited about 12-hour live this weekend. There's some great people. I'm kind of wrapping up towards the end of the evening at, I believe, 5:30. So I get to listen all day to a bunch of people just kind of talk about their stuff, the stuff that they are so passionate about in the topic. So I'm excited about it to connect with Brad. But you can follow me on Twitter at Marcus J Belin. That's Marcus Marcus J Belin. You can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Marcus Belin. Those handles just weren't available at the time together, so it is what it is. And connecting with me that way, and drmarcusbelin.com actually is a place in which, if you want to reach out, you want to connect, you want to collab on some stuff, like let's do that. Don't hesitate. Yes, I'm a building principal, but I find it most beneficial to connect with other educators and learn so much. I have a lot to learn, people. Like, I have a lot to learn as an administrator, and I'm ready to just do it and see what opportunities present themselves. So let's connect.
I love it. Thank you for all those reminders, Marcus. It was so fun to be able to chat with you. I'm so thrilled that you're going to be part of 12-Hour Live. If you guys have not seen the schedule for 12-Hour Live, we are continuously pushing that out via email. So if you're not on our email list, just direct message me. I'll add you to that. But we also are pushing it out like crazy all over social media. I'm so excited to hear the conversation between you and Brad Hughes. It's going to be a blast. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. I even did this before coffee, right? Like, I smell it. Like, that's what's next on my list. But Ray, it was awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
So good. Please, everyone, we hope you enjoy your sips of coffee. Marcus, you got to go get your coffee. And of course, if you need anything, please reach out. As a reminder for our Teach Better community, we do have Brain Break with Jeff Gargis later this afternoon. And we'll continue to be celebrating our featured speakers for the Teach Better conference tonight as well, with Trey Gamage live with us. So it is going to be a ball. Please let us know if you need anything, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.
You too.